Well, hello, everybody. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Mukund Raghunath from Acies Global. He is the founder and CEO. My name is Della Shea, and I'm one of the founding editorial board members of CDO Magazine. Mukund, it's great to have you today. Would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Della. Thanks for having me on the CDO podcast today. My name is Mukund Raghunath. I'm based out of Chicago. I have a background in data and analytics and technology for the last 20 plus years. And I'm now founder and CEO of a company called Acies Global, which helps many Fortune 1000 clients in their digital transformation journey.
So, Mukund, it has been lovely getting to know you. And one of the things that I found most intriguing in our conversations up till now has really been that we have a shared connection in Chicago. So would you mind telling us a little bit about that? In fact,
Uh,
they were rival schools.
And Della, I know that we went to rival schools in Chicago
Mhm.
for our MBA. I did get my MBA from University of Chicago. Before that, I used to work as an engineer in Motorola for a few years. And what Chicago and the MBA there helped me do was hone my thinking about problem solving from a business perspective, sort of just a technology perspective. And I think Chicago is great for me because it is a heavily quant oriented school, and given my engineering background and my natural inclination towards numbers and data, I think it Chicago helped shape my career from there on.
Interesting. No, I love Chicago. I certainly enjoyed my time there when I was at Northwestern University. I went to Kellogg, and I know that we were at rival schools, but definitely one of the top places to get a business education. So, can you tell me a little bit more about how that experience shaped your desire to go into data and analytics, especially with your background in engineering?
Absolutely. So when I graduated from University of Chicago, I decided to go the consulting route. And one of the companies that I joined at that point of time was ZS Associates, which is a uh, consulting firm in the pharma and healthcare space, but they heavily use data, mostly prescription data from physicians, to make decisions about sales and marketing strategy for the pharma company. And that was my I love the intersection of technology and business and data coming together, and that was the start of my journey in the space.
Interesting. It's such an important kind of triad of experiences that's so well suited to data and analytics today. So, when you were kind of going through that journey, what kind of led you to then move into founding ACES Global?
Right. So, before ACs, I was actually part of another startup in the data analytics space called Muse Sigma, which went
Mhm.
on to become a pioneering company in the analytics space. So I was one of the founding employees. I was the first employee in the United States for Muse Sigma, and I spent about 12 years on the leadership team there. So one of the things that I noticed working with several Fortune 500 companies, but most of these companies, there were a lot of insight that were getting created, right? And but most of the consumption of the insights was
Mhm.
still happening in Excels and PowerPoints,
Yeah.
and not in the core operational systems that drive the business on a daily basis, right? And I have a hypothesis for why this happens. I think what I notice is that a lot of the people that are working on the data analytics and driving the insight, mining the data, they're not as conversant with technology, right? That
Yeah.
and hence find it hard to close the loop by saying that how do the insights reside on a continuous basis in the applications, right? That drive the business. And on the flip side, the people building the applications, the software applications, have a heavy focus on understanding the business requirements and attacking the problem from a technology perspective, but they're not thinking through, okay, what else? What are the other questions that are going to pop up once the data starts flowing through the systems? and how do I put the right hooks in place
Mm.
to enable that, right? So my experience, data and technology and business and analytics are not coming together, in a seamless manner. Right? And that's what we're trying to do with ACs. The vision is to bring data
Together.
analytics and technology and together to help build intelligence at scale.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an important thing that you've landed on. And I think many data leaders have experienced this at some point in their own career where there's great work happening, but still locked in applications that are kind of working independently and not really driving the value of being able to have kind of insights into, what happened historically, kind of depending on Excel, email, PowerPoint. And the fact that you're really focusing on bringing that together, I find extremely valuable and extremely interesting. And so, what do you see as being the major gap right now? So, we kind of identified that this is an opportunity, but what's the gap like that you're seeing in industry and why this is so important to start to close that loop?
Right. I think if you look at what we are trying to do is the kind of work we do falls into three buckets. Right.
Mhm.
So one is the creation of the insights, which is all your data science, your ML models, your AI and business intelligence reports, and so on and so forth. The second bucket is what we think of as scaling of solutions, right? So, which is your data engineering, getting your data pipelines in
Yeah.
place so that the flow of data is continuous and can help support the systems to run on a continuous basis, and not have to repeat the same analysis over and over again, right? And the third portion is how do you enable consumption of these insights at the right point of time, the right tools and applications that are driving the business. The gap that we see is that there are tons of data engineers, software engineers, and data scientists in the company, but they're not thinking ahead, right? So when you're building your data models, the data engineers not thinking from a business analytics perspective and saying what is the data that need to flow through, right? The data scientists, when they build their models, don't have the technology know-how to say that how do I write my code in such a manner that it becomes easily scalable, right? The people that are
Mm.
the applications, you have all of these skill set. The skill set's not a problem, right? The quantity of the skill set may be a problem that they need outside help from. But how do
Yeah.
you bring these together to close the loop continuously? I think is the gap that we're trying to address.
So it's interesting. So there's a lot of talent, mostly what you're saying and what you're seeing is still in that very siloed domain. So how do you think the industry needs to start thinking about kind of bringing those domains together and bridging that in
Mhm.
a better way?
Absolutely. So, and that I think what needs to happen is you have to, what we tell our people is think like deep generalists, right?
Mm.
In the sense that even if you are a data scientist, have an appreciation for what data engineering needs and requires, so that you are able to do your job as a data scientist better. Similarly, if you're a data engineer, right? How do you think about the enabling consumption of that data on a day-to-day basis? Think about what analysis is going to happen, right? Understand data science and the software engineering a little bit so that you can do your job better as somebody who's enabling the foundational data to be in place, right? So I think that's what we're trying to do. We are encouraging our people to explore more than one of those, of these three buckets,
Mm.
so that they are able to do their job better and they're able to scale, the intelligence across the systems more seamlessly.
So that's really interesting, Mukund. Can you tell us a little bit about the specific offerings that you have for your clients to help them in their journeys of really making their initiatives impactful?
Della, I spoke a little bit about the scaling and the
Mhm.
consumption and the creation pieces of what we do, which is the data engineering, the data science, and the software engineering aspects of it. What we help our client to do is bring them together and have systems, intelligent systems that can scale the analytics on a continuous basis, right? And
Yeah.
And from our own organization perspective, what we encourage our folks to do is to think beyond their specific area of expertise. Even if you're a data scientist, how do you understand the foundational aspects of data engineering and software engineering, so you can build models that are scalable? If you're a data engineer, how do you understand what data science is looking for from a data perspective, right? Or what the analysts are looking for from a data perspective, and how that information is going to get consumed, so you can build data models that that are more useful. Right. So that's what we bring to the table for our clients, and we attack problems from a business perspective, right? So business first is how we think. So we may not be experts in every. It is impossible for us to be experts in your line of business, right? As a
Yeah.
client, but we ask enough questions and do enough research so we understand the context very well. And sometimes just the fact that we work across multiple industries helps us bring a outside in perspective of thinking,
Mhm.
right? That
Mhm.
drives innovation. So I think those are something that our clients like. The fact that we can help them end to end, right?
Yeah.
And not have to be told what to do on a daily basis, right? But we bring ideas to the table for our.
I think you hit on something really important as well in terms of being very business focused, being business first. So you don't get into situations where you just have these interesting technology initiatives or projects for the sake of technology. I would like to thank you on behalf of the CDO magazine for joining me, Mukund, and sharing all of your thoughts and insights. And I'd like to encourage everybody to go to the CDO magazine for more insights and interviews. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for having me today.